first two circles, like for those of you that don't know much about the third circle theory I've written about, the third circle theory is about three circles that every human being goes through throughout their life. It's the mastery of circumstance, the mastery of society, and the mastery of life. These three very different circles are all interconnected, and every one of us goes through that through life. Now, not every one of us succeeds as graduating past these circles, but rather the only real difference is that some of us master one versus some of us master two, and very few of us master three. Very few of us find the fulfillment we seek out of life. A lot of very wealthy people don't even end up in the third circle. They end up only in the second circle to find themselves making a lot of money and always feeling unfulfilled, looking for more money. So it's almost like this never-ending quest for more and more money constantly. When it comes to the first circle, it's really about the mastery of circumstance, like I said. And what that means is it's our ability to no longer allow the circumstance or the situation we're in to dictate where we go. So there's a lot of components into the first circle that are very important for us to kind of understand, that are key to helping us master a circumstance. One of which is belief, the other one is confidence. Two things that we learn to kind of work on throughout our life. And the better we get at working through them, the faster we graduate the ability to master a circumstance. So the more confident we are, and the better our ability to kind of start controlling our belief system, the more we're able to get exposed to information, and the more we kind of understand what is in our control, what is not, and what we can kind of move forward from. The first circle, most people who live in the first circle are often people you'll hear saying things like, oh man, my car broke down, or like something happened to them that moment, and they really express their negativity towards the situation. And it's something that honestly they can't do much about, but they just feel the need to constantly express their dissatisfaction with the situation. Because their inability to control the situation or understand that they need to focus on what they control, not what they can, they're continuously reiterating the things they don't like rather than focusing on the things they kind of want to do or they will be doing. A lot of people that live in the first circle speak a lot about like what they're going to do, but there's not a lot of action behind that. There's a lot of like, oh, I'm going to have this soon, or I'm going to do that. And their goals are often very materialistic in the sense that they're only materialistic. Like they're always about what they're going to have. Topics of conversation are also very materialistic driven continuously. So they're never about, the growth of themselves as an individual or what they're going to do or their plans for themselves, but rather kind of their growth from a monetary standpoint. People who live in the first circle haven't mastered the essence of money because they haven't been able to master society. As a result, they've never really found where they fit in society and how to actually manipulate society to have or be able to get what society created as a measure of money, which is as a measure of success, which is money. Society has created that measure, which is not an accurate measure of who has succeeded in life or not, but who has succeeded in society is driven by who has made the most money. So if you think about who has made the most money, those people who live in the second circle, or like there's certain components in the second circle that are driven upon like money, which really talk about people who have mastered the second circle, are individuals who have been able to master their habits and have also been able to master how to make money. Their ability to make money doesn't mean they're millionaires, but rather they have understood how money functions and where their place in society is to take what's theirs. So they comprehend how to actually take money from others and how to earn a living. And so as a result, they understand where their situation ends and where they're able to kind of like work within the scope that we call society and have this system for themselves, which is go to work every day and everything else, or even start a business and collect a fee for the services you provide. But pretty much this cycle that they're into is the second circle. Many of us today, especially people watching this video who are seeking growth, often live at the beginning of the second circle, which you're trying to identify ways for yourself on making your business successful, successful or making yourself money. The idea at this point is that you're somewhere where you need to be making money. You don't understand how to when you enter the second circle. You've understood that it is up to you to make money and it is in your control, so you've graduated past the circumstance portion, which is circle 1. But once you've entered that, you've accepted that school is no longer a minimum requirement for you to be successful, but rather one additional tool you have to use, and that education is not based upon a classroom, but based upon yourself and the information you're exposed to. So these are all components of people who live in the second circle. Once you've mastered that concept and you continuously grow and you've mastered your ability to collect a payment for the service or a fee for the service or product you provide, and are able to trade your time for money, and you understand the worth of your time, then you are what we call a graduate of the second circle. Now, once you are in the second circle and you are kind of working your way towards graduating it, you don't necessarily go into the third circle. So just because you're mastering society doesn't mean that you will tweak yourself and find the ability to master life. You're going to enter into the first portion of the third circle, which is your desire to seek information to find fulfillment. So once you've learned how money does not create fulfillment, but rather just creates the ability to control circumstance and leverage society, you start thinking on a bigger scale and you start asking yourself, what are you here to do? What is your purpose? Are you meant to just create this product, continue to grow it, and continue to make more money? Or there's got to be more to life than just making money, getting better cars, getting better houses, getting better friends, meeting better people. There's got to be more, right? So you start thinking about impact. And what I mean by impact is you start thinking about how can you impact everyone around you? How can you actually do something that'll get you remembered? How can you be successful outside of money? And so a lot of people kind of look towards their failures at that point, and that's not a good thing to do, but they look towards their failures at this point to try to identify other ways they can improve so that hopefully they can fill that gap. Well, the good news is, for those of you that are seeking those failures, it's not within your failures. The answer is not within your failures. So looking at your failures will only improve you further into the second circle, but it's not really going to help you get into the depth of the third circle and graduate it. When you align all of these things like vision, passion, belief, and everything else you've learned in the first two circles, you start having this confidence that you're able to bring, you start getting bigger visions, and you start aligning that your confidence is capable of bringing certain visions to life. So it's your belief system starts becoming in your own control a lot more than when you're in the first or second circle. When you're in the first circle, you start to learn that what your belief system is today isn't what it needs to be tomorrow. But in the second circle, you really learn about ways that you can improve yourself throughout time to ultimately just be better, greater, and stronger, and be more successful, as success as defined by society's terms. When you take that next level in your life and you're trying to define what success looks like for you in the long term, you really start looking for that feeling of fulfillment. And because it's a feeling, it's a little bit more difficult to kind of put a gauge on like money, because money is very black and white. If you do A, you get B. If you find a way to do A better than everyone else, you get more of B, which is money. So ultimately, since that's very black and white, not everybody is able to adapt their thinking and their learning into the third circle. The third circle is the ability to see a grand vision of what we want the impact we make in the world to be. Whatever that impact is, that impact could be changing the way we function, changing the way people see transportation. But it's like our belief that we can make a greater impact than just make money for ourselves. So we start thinking, especially if we haven't before, we start really leveraging entrepreneurship. We start really thinking about what is entrepreneurship, how does it work, and when does it come into what we're trying to do in our long-term plans. What can we do? What can we create instead of what can we make money on? What can we create to really make an impact on other people? When we start thinking that way, we get this feeling that we like impacting other people and that we want to be remembered. So the word legacy comes into play. Legacy is a very big needed part of the third circle. And so if you don't believe that you can leave a legacy, it's usually very hard to graduate from the third circle. And so for the first and second circle, though, because we'll definitely talk about the third circle later, but the first and second circle are your mastery of society, your mastery of circumstance and society. The more people live in the first circle, the less likely we are to move forward as a society, because they're those people that never actually move forward, they just move in circles. Versus people who are, in number two, are also not so much focused on other people, because their whole goal is to be successful for themselves and master society. Not so much, to go out there and impact others, but regularly impact themselves so they can move past survivorship into growth and growing to a level that society deems successful and that you can be comfortable at. You can have a nice home, like some of these homes you're seeing in the background here. We're on Millionaire Row in Miami. So these are all successful people who have done well one way or another and who have monetarily succeeded. It doesn't mean they've succeeded in life, but rather they've succeeded in the sense that they've earned or have enough money to be able to live a comfortable life the way society aims to be successful. If nobody graduates the first and second circle, then nobody's core focus is to help impact people in the first or second circle. And if nobody impacts people in the first or second circle, then society doesn't move forward as much, and people keep producing more children that fit in the first and second circle and never really teach them to get out of it because they themselves don't know how to. If people don't actually help others live in the third circle or move forward from one circle to the next, progression starts slowing down. And when progression slows down in society, it creates a lot more stupid people in a concentrated area. So you're going to have even more segregation of wealth, throughout the country, throughout the different areas. So it's very important that you consider that anytime you look at people in the first and second circle, they're always focused about themselves, which is why the dot that's on the actual third circle diagram, you'll see there's a dot in the center of the first and second, meaning the world revolves around you. So everything you learn in the first and second circle is about your growth and your next steps. So it's very important to understand the more we get people into that mode of being into that next step and growing into the third, the more they'll be able to impact first and second circle. So it's very important that more people kind of shift over into the third circle. So